advocates, and welcome to the 2021 Legislative Overview with MCH. My name is Kirsten Rookie, and I'm the Director of Communications.
I'm Matt Trainer, the Director of Organizing.
And I'm Zach Eichten, Director of Public Policy.
Awesome. We're excited to advocate and learn with you today. I wanted to fill you in a little bit about our Homeless Day on the Hill. Normally we have this in March and around 900 people come and join us. It was our largest one ever last year, and it was very exciting to have people from all across the state join us. This year, the exciting news is we are still going to have a Homeless Day on the Hill. It will be virtual, so we might not have as many people, but we hope to get as many advocates that are willing. And it's going to be 3 days long, the 9th through the 11th, and there will be different ways for you to participate on all those days. So stay tuned because we will send out more information about that soon. This is the front page of our 2021 legislative agenda this year. I wanted to share it with you, and I also wanted to share with you the back page. All of this is available on our website, and we'll also send out an email that includes a link for you to download this so you can share it with your communities and your lawmakers. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Zach, who's going to give us a little bit more information about these priorities.
Yeah, thanks, Kirsten. As I said earlier, my name is Zach Eichten. I am the new Director of Public Policy here at the Minnesota Coalition for the Homeless. I'm so excited to be here advocating virtually with all of you in a really great legislative agenda that we've put together to unveil today. The first thing on our legislative agenda is shelter capital. We know that 80 of our 87 counties currently do not have enough shelter beds to meet the needs of their local communities. So we're advocating for an investment of $50 million, $25 in cash through House File 21, which is already introduced, and $25 million in bonding, which will be introduced shortly, to leverage these two avenues for construction of new shelter beds, acquisition of spaces that could be used for shelter, and rehabilitation of existing shelter. We know that this is a critical investment that we need to meet the need of Minnesotans. So part two of our legislative agenda then is actually the operations for these shelters, both existing and hopefully new shelters as well. And we're advocating for a $15 million investment ongoing into the emergency services program. The Emergency Services Program is the most flexible source of funding that shelters have to be able to meet the needs of their local communities. Really, there's a lot of eligible uses for this funding. So each individual shelter that's able to receive funding is able to use it how they see fit to best serve the needs of their local communities. When we increase this, we increase local control over what these communities need to meet the need. And that brings us to part three, which is making sure that folks who are in stable housing don't need to go back into shelters, and keeping folks who are in stable housing where they are. And to do that, we're advocating for an increase to the housing support program. Housing support was previously known as group residential housing, and it helps pay for housing costs for seniors and adults with disabilities who have low incomes. Essentially, what we need to do is make sure that these providers are able to stay in business. And by increasing the rate to these providers, we're able to keep more people in stable housing. Additionally, we know that when folks have stable housing, they're more secure in what they're able to do. But we want to make sure that folks who are in stable housing are able to get the health treatment that they need. So we're advocating for a policy change to waive temporary absences for people who need to go in to get treatment, whether it be for mental health or substance abuse. As long as folks are able to get that treatment, they'll be secure in knowing that their housing is going to remain stable through this program. We know that we all do better when we all do better. So MCH is going to be advocating for the full continuum of housing, including the entire Homes for All agenda. If you want to see the entire Homes for All agenda, visit homesforallmn.org. We know that shelter saves lives and housing ends homelessness. So when we have housing, we save lives, and we all do better when we all do better. So with that, I will give it over to Matt to talk about the Regional Interview Project.
Yeah, thank you, Zach, and thank you for that overview. So one of the things that the Team MCH has been doing this last year is really trying to be proactive in making sure we're talking to people across the entire state. So advocates, so legislators, so our neighbors all know that homelessness exists everywhere. It's not just an urban issue. So we reached out to different partners who were able to interview lots of amazing folks So you can go onto our website. You can see the link right there, and there's a list of all the videos. So feel free to go on there, and hopefully some of the things that said is either inspiring to you or informative. It can help you get more comfortable talking about homelessness. So I really encourage you to go to the website and check it out. But for right now, we're also going to hear from Christina, who is from Wilmer. She's been homeless herself. She was gracious enough to let us interview her, and she just has a really powerful message. So without further ado, here's Christina. Thank you for tuning in. We are doing our regional conversations throughout the state to make sure people are aware that homelessness is a statewide crisis. A lot of people will often say, well, homelessness exists in the Twin Cities, but what about greater Minnesota? What about rural Minnesota? Well, our guest today, Christina, is somebody that has been homeless, has lived in greater Minnesota, been in rural Minnesota. She's from Wilmer, and she's joining us today. Thank you so much, Christina. I'm just going to dive right into the questions. So the first question, how does it need for us to end homelessness by shelter beds, by services, resources? How does the lack of enough resources, how has that impacted you personally?
It has impacted myself and my family greatly. We had nowhere to turn. Our county did run out of funding, or, our funding was for a certain number of people. Someone did tell me to go to UCAP. And when I went to UCAP, my idea of going there was, I'm going to get let down again. As homelessness is very severe here in especially in Wilmer, to my knowledge. And if it was not for UCAP helping to give me resources to pick me up, to help myself and my family, I would not be here today. We need to do something for our people.
Right.
And I am living proof that we need to help everyone.
Yeah, you said you wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for these services. Can you expand where are you today? What's going on in your life? And would you benefit any of that you did it, but was there any help along the way that was beneficial?
Homelessness it affects all areas of life. And with that said, I feel that when people are homeless, addiction rises, trauma rises from your past. Things become a lot worse for you. It's hard to excel when you do not have a roof over your head. And when you are homeless and living from a bag with your 2 children and have absolutely nowhere to go, it scares you. As a single mother, we will do anything for our children. And when the resources are limited, not only is just the mother suffering, but the children are suffering more. And we need to help each other out and bring each other up for our next generation. I feel that homelessness is affecting also people that do have addiction problems. And when you do not have a home, it seems to blow up a little more and it will consume you. So we need people to guide us. And that's exactly what UCAP did for me.
That was a perfect segue. And just really powerful to hear that already. So I think just to wrap this up, a final question would be, and when we say UCAP, just so people know, that's United Community Action Program in Southwest Minnesota. But Christina, do you have if there's something you want to stick in people's heads throughout Minnesota, advocates, what would it be? What would you tell them as they're doing, as they're moving forward in their advocacy to try to end homelessness?
Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for your kind spirit, your kind words. Thank you for the generosity that we have received. It is a blessing for my family and I to have been able to get an apartment. Excuse me. I'm trying not to cry here. But when you are homeless and you have ran out of options, sometimes our worst enemy is ourself. And the only thing that stops people from progressing is not having a home, not being able to be a human being. And so I am forever grateful for you, Cap.
Right. Thank you, Pat.
It was great to hear from Christina. Thank you for sharing your story. And hopefully you can check out those other videos that Matt had talked about. I want to talk to you a little bit about some additional advocacy opportunities available to you. Now that you've learned a little bit about what our legislative priorities are, now we need your help to advocate and to push, because shelter saves lives and housing ends homelessness. So follow us on social media. We have a presence on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and we're recently growing our YouTube, maybe a little late to the party, but we're excited about it. At MN Homeless Co, find us. Participate in Twitter storms and tweet chats. That's a great way for us to get involved with our legislators. A mass group of us are tweeting and talking with our lawmakers, and because everything is virtual right now, it's one of the only ways we can really connect with them as a group. And so stay tuned. There will be options and opportunities for you to get involved there. We recently put together a form that you can fill out so that you can connect with your lawmaker and schedule a visit with Zach. Zach will be there so that he can help frame up the visit for you, but you're able to share your story. We know that stories are very impactful and important, and so we want to create an avenue for you, and we want it to be as quick and easy for you to get to your lawmaker as possible. So on our website, we do have a form for you. Fill it out, and we can get you connected to your lawmaker so that you have that option of sharing your story with them. Our e-news is available on our website. Sign up for our e-newsletters. We have stuff going out every week, and it's just a great way for us to stay connected to you. A couple other things, join our Homes for All teams. So we kind of touched a little bit about what Homes for All is doing this year. Matt, Zach, and myself are all involved in these teams as co-chairs, and we would love to have you on our teams all the time. We're looking for more members. So if you're interested in joining the teams or being connected to Homes for All, follow us and get connected. And lastly, we do have a spot on our website called Be Informed, and that's a great place for you to find resources and videos and clips that maybe you've missed that we feature from ourselves and from our members. So check out our website. We're updating it all the time, especially in a virtual world. It's a great way for us to stay connected. And thank you very much for joining us today. We hope you learned something and that you can advocate with us moving forward.